team that made Cuz's life living hell.
Yeah, and it's like they pissed off Antara, and Antara said, well, I'll send him my cousins, all right? And then Huni came in and beat the crap out of Khan up towards the top side of the map. But the first ban will once again be that Cassiopeia. We'll see whether it is just going to be mirrored bans on blue side yet again.
Yeah, very interesting to see, because Cassiopeia ban I think you have to do against Faker. You could try something creative like Azir into Cassiopeia, but then a kill comes through from Cassio, Faker snowballs, and it's GG from there. So Cassio will be ruled out. Cassiopeia, Rakan, and Maokai with their bans. On the blue side in Game 3, reminding you that SK Telecom has side selections in Game 2 and 4. They chose blue side, surprisingly, and lost in Game 2. They choose red side here in Game 4 to try to get Huni that matchup again. And yes, like you say, LeBlanc banned away. Wolfo's Faker to go somewhere else. He wants to blind pick early. Could be the Corki from him today.
It may mean that Longzhu could put them in a position where SKT have to think about what Faker's matchup is going to be and not be able to freely throw Huni exactly what he wants. But that's a theory from a play-by-play, and honestly, it may not necessarily be the best decision.
Lucian and Corki both are still available and both can be blinded, especially when you're Faker.
Yeah.
Pretty happily.
And here it is. This is the change.
This is an interesting change in pick ban. They do not want to give blank, person who has the SK Telecom T1 Zac skin after him, the Zac, so they will ban it on blue side. We will not see Cuz flailing away on the Zac in the next game. So first pick Gragas seems very likely from the side of Longzhu Gaming, but will SKT make it a choice of Gragas or Tristana? Because Tristana is still left available. They don't have to ban it. Waiting to see, yep, Sejuani's the final ban. They want to take the Gragas as an answer if we see the Tristana prioritized, or just happy to take Tristana on red side.
Yeah, or the Rakan as well that SKT have put a lot of priority on. There are so many champions that are now left available. So the Gragas is the obvious choice here from Longzhu, but do they change it up? Do they decide to go with something else instead?
The moment they banned Sejuani, SK Telecom, they knew that Gragas come through. We were predicting it, but when you see the Sejuani ban, it's saying, okay, you can't have a substitute tank jungler with Engage with the Tristana. You're going to get Gragas, and we're going to get Tristana. So I think Tristana, who has been permanent banned today, will be locked in here, and it could be Trist-Rakan as a complete duo, and it will be.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense.
It's not locked in yet, but I think you have to go this way if you're SKT. Wolf has shown great performance on outside of his game much earlier today. Is highly prized by SKT. Bang's Tristana games are recent too. He made 4 games in a row. First 4 games of the Telecom War series was on Tristana, and it was 4 different supports from Wolf to complement him. The Trist-Rakan is taken. Now we get to see where Praying Gorilla wants to go. Ashe is available, remember, but was taken away from him in Game 1 and not prioritized at all in the end, as they will not be looking for primary engage from their AD carry. Caitlyn Thresh is the duo to answer the Trist and the Rakan.
Well, if they wanted lane pressure, that is certainly going to help out. Longzhu now with a lot of capability early on, and I feel like Rakan isn't necessarily like the Alistar levels 1 through 3, that sort of thing. It doesn't have that level 3 power spike where you get all your buttons, you can press them all and try and get some aggression down and create some space in the lane. However, as the game goes on, we know what Wolf is capable of, as Maokai, another one of these champions that has been left up, is being looked at.
A flex pick also for the side of SKT, who do not have their jungler selected yet. The Maokai, Huni's really big announcement pick.
Yeah.
Look back to spring season where Kiliosaya casting, and all we could say was, holy crap, it's Huni playing on a tank, on a Maokai. How's this going to go? And predictably, if you have good mechanics, you can play a champion like the Maokai with very simple mechanical plays, and his Maokai was one of the best we had in spring season. Could still be blank, going for a tank jungler to answer the Gragas as well. But it does mean on the red side, they're going to get more value out of last pick, keeping a bit of a shroud of secrecy.
Well, at the moment, you can see that Longzhu aren't buying the fact that that Maokai will be heading into the jungle, despite the fact that he's a tree, and they've taken away the Elise. Second ban in the last round here from SKT to come in. Will they keep the focus on Khan?
Elise is a good smart ban, because if you allow SKT to run Elise Maokai, then it's a kill lane. Between the two of them, they have enough damage to take people down level 3, level 4. With the Elise shouldering a lot of damage, it opens up Lucian mid lane as well from Faker. And with the Elise banned away, it's going to be harder to find magic damage from the jungle, and they respect BDD potentially jumping on the Lucian. So it might actually mean a blind pick mid laner is coming through.
I like the J4 ban from Longzhu. It's another flex pick that is taken away. It is something that Blank has found success on, as well as, oh god, I'm getting flashbacks, Papa Smithy, the Corki for Faker being hovered. Another one of those safe picks. BDD might be a different Talia to take into the Corki, but I honestly wouldn't take that gamble. Faker just looked unbeatable on that champion. It is going to be locked in.
But does he have the balls to take Talia into Corki after Faker hit Pawn into a new dimension? Such was the domination of him in the semi-final. We already complimented BDD for playing the Talia at all after Faker had taken off all comers, Crown and Pawn, on that particular champion in recent series. Corki can go very decent in lane against the Talia, but Talia is a very capable pick, can just push. So they take the big risk and they try to rotate around with the Talia.
And I do like this as far as what, if you look at Longzhu's composition in a vacuum without even considering what SKT have put together, it does work very well with the Talia because you can put the Caitlyn sitting back and siege down the turrets. There it is, Khan wants his comfort back once again as the Jace is going to be locked in. What does Huni do? The Cho'Gath, it's available. He can take it if he wants, but how's the matchup into the old Jace?
Look, it's capable. All the tanks are roughly the same, but there's kill pressure on the Cho'Gath. I think Cho'Gath will be the selection because Maokai jungle gives you the targeted CC. You hit the rupture, you know what's happening from there. So they're going to need ganks around the top side. The good thing for Longzhu is it's very hard to recreate what happened to Cuz in Game 3 with the SKT draft in Game 4. We're expecting it to be Maokai jungle, Cho'Gath top lane, and then you have Maokai who doesn't skirmish very well compared to a Gragas. You also have a pushing bot lane from Longzhu, so you're a little bit more tunneled in terms of where you want to play. You may want to play around the Tristana lane because Tristana with lane pressure, getting out of lane first. If you get Tristana's turret first, Tristana goes to other lanes, you win the game. They're going to have to choose between ganking against the Jace and also ganking against the Kate Thresh to get the Tristana or the Cho'Gath ahead. So they actually have to pay on one side of the map, whereas in the previous game, they won all sides of the map at the same time.
Yeah, they most certainly did. And look, if you were looking at the draft, you may not have thought that it was necessarily something that SKT had put together that was disgusting. But now that it's all come together, they've got both of the super tanks, the Cho'Gath and the Maokai, up towards the top side of the map with jungle and top lane. Faker's Corki, which has been going completely nuts recently, and then the Tristana Rakan, almost the highest priority bottom lane duo that SKT have put out there in their most recent matches. It's feeling a little bit like there's not a lot of bans, Papa Smithy.
Longzhu still has those pushing lanes though, Atlas. They made the tempo draft work in Game 2. There were some mistakes from SK Telecom answering it though. We'll see how it does. It's still match point.
Yep, the coveted jungle pick goes over to Cuz this time as well. What can he do without being able to get shut down very early on? We'll see as we head on to Summoner's Rep for game number 4 and another match point for Longzhu.
소환사의 협곡에 환영합니다.
Well, you can hear the coordination from the SK Telecom T1 fans in the audience. They are ready for this reverse sweep. I feel like everyone is just a little bit. Then the Longzhu fans will pipe up again in game number 5 because we've made it. We've gone the distance at that particular point. See, SKT's draft, terrifying, as we were discussing earlier, but Longzhu feeling like they've got their rookie in a better position, and they've got comfort still across the board.
They invested their support, actually, to go to top side to guarantee the vision that they were granted from their early invade in game number 3, but we see an invade by Longzhu also. Getting rid of the saplings and contesting the start from Maokai as well, so deep vision afforded to both teams, and was vertical jungling in game 1. We might have it here too, Atlas.
Yeah, actually looking to switch over to the other side of the map though as Blank considering a contest, but Cuz wanting to utilize the added power that he has with the Gragas in his hands now. Gorilla's actually moving himself up. It's going to be 1 versus 2 as far as Frey is concerned, but could this make the difference as Khan just going so aggressive. His extra level 1 power is massive. And you can see Blank just concedes. He'll move towards his bottom side on this Maokai. And will his extra practice, his extra prowess in the jungle, and experience on stages like this help him deal with what is looking pretty similar to the situation that he put Cuz in Game 3.
Very interesting to see Cuz not actually kill the big raptor, not going to return to the jungle. If he had gone for the full camp clear, they would have had the respawn time and been able to contest Maokai. But they don't put trust in that, even though they have pushing lanes in the majority. In fact, in all three on paper. And they just go for the camp ruin by just not taking the big raptor. They got the level 2, they get the red buff steal. But now Longzhu control the top side of the jungle, which does allow Jace to just push up confidently and have Cho'Gath just be under turret, doing his best to pick up the CS when Khan damn well chooses to push it up.
Oh, and a good hook coming out from Gorilla once again. Massive damage as the trap was put down expertly. Prey actually a second one there.
Old school kill lane.
Yeah, it's a
Caitlyn and Thresh. No ignite used by Gorilla. Would have maybe been able to draw out a summoner from it, but it wasn't guaranteed. So just chose not to.
That's level 3 to level 1, possibly.
Good point. Huni skilled the Rupture level 1 to try to contest the Raptors. Thought he might pick up some Raptor experience.
Oh, another max range hook goes down. The ignite's there, but the heal, even though there is grievous wounds, is able to negate the damage. Just over 100 health now for Bang, as this is the bottom lane that we saw in games 1 and 2 coming out from Longzhu. This is the power of the Kate Thresh, and in the hands of these veterans, these experts of their field, just looks like a joy to watch for a Longzhu fan, and a nightmare for SKT.
And Mata had a day out against Bang's Tristana in Game 1 and Game 2 of the Telecom War semi-final. Caitlyn is on 715. The trap nerfs are not there. She is much higher power than she is on 716 that we see in all the other regions. So Caitlyn has been not a preferred pick. Obviously harder to play her in solo queue, she's so different, and will start to fall away in other regions, but power level is higher here. There's a pseudo kill lane going on as, well, Huni's got experience, so he's got that going for him.
Hey, at least has a bit of farm as well. Just being bullied. Khan's just a big meanie.
Moved up to 9-1 on the season on the Jace. Allowed it here as well.
Oh, Shock Blast comes in. 300 health for Huni as Cuz. He's putting the pressure onto Blank as well. And there's nothing that this tiny little Cho'Gath can do. The top side of the map, BDD actually having a fine time here in the mid lane. Actually one creep ahead of Faker. Does have the experience lead as well and is able to get this roam towards the top side. Only level 5, no Weaver's Wall, but still looking to try and get himself here. Affect this possible gank on 2 members of SKT. Shock Blast, massive damage as Longzhu screening himself over there, going for the dive as Blank in so much trouble. The flash is coming out from everyone, but that's going to be first blood going to Khan. Huni still underneath his turret in so much trouble, and teleport has to be brought out from Faker so that movement from BDD not punished.
I want to talk about a small movement as well. You saw Cuz start to walk towards the turret as the teleport was being channeled. He did that because he wanted Faker to complete the teleport, not be able to push in multiple minion waves in the mid lane. So he actually did his mid laner a favor, forcing Faker to go all the way to topside, recall by items. And it's a small thing like that that is a real glimmer of hope for Longzhu fans, because it's a veteran decision from Cuz.
And look at Gorilla, just the one-man army here in this lane, while it's just Prey eating up creeps to the best of his ability. Currently ahead by a gigantic margin here for 5 minutes in the game. Closer to 6 as Khan once again sets himself up position beyond the cast creeps.
And we were really worried about Longzhu's pick and ban. That's why we were really going back and forth saying, but how can they not allow the invade onto Zac play? And it doesn't have to be Zac, could have been a Sejuani as well. They changed their draft so dramatically with the 2 bans on blue side. How's this spotted here by Huni, who now knows he's in a lot of trouble.
Yep, there it is. Weaver's Wall comes down as well. It's just BDD wanting to get himself over for this kill that he's hungry for. Pops up into the sky as if he's saying hooray as he takes down Huni in the Rupture. And Huni, this is a very different look for the detective this time around.
And in that losing streak, they had to sub out Huni in situations like this after he got ganked after gank, chain ganked on Rumble, the most famous time. This time, Cho'Gath's one big weakness as a laner, high sustain, ability to have solo kills. But if he loses his flash, if you can gank him, he's got a large target and he's not able to turn around ganks very well, specifically not with the extra burst from the Feast. So they do everything but take down the turret. There's not even any rush to take down the turret, Atlas. It's just another place they can return to again and again.
And look at Khan's face as well. This guy is all business moving into this game number 4. And honestly, it feels like game number 3 didn't even happen. Often you see SKT do this to a team. They did it to KT immediately. Triggered. We have to like try a completely different strategy in order to beat this team. And SKT rolls over them one after the other. It looks like there's no way in. This time, Longzhu just do exactly what SKT did to them. They say, well, I don't care. I'm going to pick up the Gragas now. I'm going to invade your jungle, and we're going to decimate your top laner. That's precisely what's happened.
Sort of pick ban strategy adjustment that we did not see from KT Rolster. They were not able to make this happen, and they left the turret up so they could gank again, just to be clear.
Yep, well, the Rupture is going to hit the fat guy, but Huni is going to get beaten to a pulp. Oh my God, Khan doesn't miss a shock blast, and will just wander his way out. Faker and Blank say,
they got a
and
front row
wander
seat.
back to their respective areas.
They got a front row seat to Huni being roasted like a marshmallow. Nothing they could do in that scenario. They kept up the turret, and I feel like Huni should have known that. It could have been easily taken by Jace, but the only reason you don't take a turret is because you're winning the lane so damn much.
The Yordle Collector himself, Gorilla, trying to lock down Bang. Another Ignite goes down. Good shield comes in from Wolf to try and keep him up. But oh my goodness, these headshots pray. He's looking for more. Has the ultimate available, remember? No, he doesn't. Actually, had already used that previously. I tell a lie, so not going to have that lockdown damage. But look at this, BDD, so much space. Faker, the next order on his menu. And Khan, because of that movement from BDD, easily able to grab that first brick on the top side. And this is erupting into beyond a 3,000 gold lead at 9 minutes into this game. Not quite the lead SKT had, but Longzhu looking fantastic here at match point in game number 4.
And just like game 2, they need to keep their foot on the accelerator. You talked about the super tanks. That will come with time. Cho'Gath, when he's emaciated, when he doesn't have items, when he can't even get feast stacks because he's desperate for a level 6 of his own. 9 minutes in, only level 5. 3 levels below Khan. He's not much of a frontliner. He only does a modicum of burst. He does not achieve much. Youmuu's Ghost Blade already complete on Jace. God. He is a monster. And this is actually the safer choice of the 2 Serrated Dirk items that you can complete. Most people in solo queue would go Duskblade for the burst, but with Youmuu's, he can sidestep the ruptures so easily. He can open up space and dodge skill shots, and that's more important than just that little bit of extra burst.
And when you have mechanics like Khan does, having that extra mobility is so much more important, so I certainly respect that. Package forced out. BDD was looking for that seismic shove. Khan was setting himself up here, and my God, the chunk damage onto Faker. What do? I don't think you do much against that. That was just a Jace erupting out of nowhere. I know he looks like a gentleman. In fact, my outfit looks kind of similar right now.
You're quite debonair. You're quite dapper over there, Atlas.
As are you, Papa Smithy. However, it was white coats. White coats. You know, that was what I meant. As Gorilla behind enemy lines, but he's with Cuz BDD. He's going to turn up as well. Battle Dance gets Wolf the wrong direction, but Bang and Wolf 2 both make their way out. Khan turns up a little bit late to the party, but it should open up this bottom outer turret, and you can see exactly what Longzhu want to do. They have this composition that has the Caitlyn. They can move it around. They've got a Weaver's Wall to block off any enemies. They can just strategically destroy the base of SKT.
And you complete the teleport, Atlas, and even accept if Cho'Gath can full rotation the top lane tower, which he can't, he backs away because Infernal Drake is the first spawn. The dream when you're wanting top lane Jace and 4 members that profit off of Infernal. Exactly the sort of Drake RNG they were looking for. For the first time, Faker looks pretty subdued in his play on Corki. Game is far from over, but this is the Longzhu draft they were looking for in much the same manner that we would have said about SKT in game 3.
Yep. And we asked the question of Taliyah into Corki. Faker made Corki look like a counter pick into Taliyah against Pawn, against Crown, against all of these seasoned Taliyah players. As Khan, good flash. Just wanders out of the rupture there as well. It seems like you can't get him when he's playing Jace. The comfort is too strong.
He's just so good at knowing his limits, Atlas. He didn't get a chance to know them. His limits were basically a gray screen in game number 3, but game 1, 2, and now 4.
Yeah.
He's just so good at understanding mechanically where and what he needs to do. Even macro-wise, smarter than you would expect with how good his macro are.
And look, this is the story where we expect SKT to be winning game number 4, to be doing that back-to-back, that reverse sweep against KT, against Longzhu. That's how the story feels like it should be going, based on the fact that they managed to get the red side. They get the counter pick for Huni. They get all these opportunities. And it just feels like Longzhu said, well, we're going to throw that script the heck out the window because we know what we want to do. We'll take this game in our own hands. And they've got a massive lead to bring us towards 15 minutes.
And it's so damn attractive to watch. It's the spirit of the Rox Tigers that was lost after the roster changes in 2016. It's relentlessly aggressive. It's pushing for every advantage. They are not the control team. They are the firecracker, and the firecracker's popping off all over the map.
And that was a zoning seismic shove that got an extra few auto attacks onto that turret for Prey. In the meantime, what they were preparing in their kitchen earlier was Cuz taking down the Rift Herald, which he can set up if he wants to. But there's now no more turret. It's almost like he's bothered by the fact that they've done so incredibly well towards the mid lane. Now with his Void Touch passive, we'll see whether they move towards the inner turret on the bot side of the map or whether they're looking to continue anything forward. Just feels like Longzhu have so many options. Prey going for this turret destruction build with the Zeal item coming in after the BF sword. Don't necessarily need the crit of an Infinity Edge if you're just going to be hitting those buildings.
And it's been so surreal that Caitlyn has been looked over so many games in a row. Because we keep sitting there saying, guys, it's patch 7.15, guys, it's patch 7.15.
Yeah, she's still good.
7.16 is being played in every other region. And I think it is small things like, well, can't practice her in solo queue, different Caitlyn, different laning power spikes than from before. Doesn't have the same sort of oomph. A lot had changed about Caitlyn on patch 7.16. And it's that weird thing. We actually see this quite often when we know that a patch change is coming a week later. People just stop playing a champion that's nerfed because it's like, well, I haven't practiced it as much. Like, what's the point of even doing it? Or they start
playing champions that aren't buffed yet. It's like Rek'Sai turns up before she was buffed or changed. And we're like, but beyond, it didn't quite work.
And that's the eccentricities of delayed patch cycles.
Yeah.
But Caitlyn is still very, very powerful. The most recent nerf, if you're losing track of patches, was the extra attack speed per level, which hurts her in the late game. But the traps still do plenty of damage. The sieging and the laning phase is oppressive, and it's a great answer to what Tristana and Rakan want to do, because they can go toe-for-toe, shove in their face, and stop there from being any satchel charges on enemy turret.
Yeah, and the only, exactly right. The only change from busted first ban necessary Caitlyn is attack speed per level. There's absolutely nothing else. And we saw when players were playing on this patch that she was still #1 ban.
On the new patch, extra damage fall off for your Q means you can't wave clear as safely or as quickly as before. The traps make your late game worse. Those are not live here in Cuz. They want an inner turret. Cuz just being a happy man. They could interrupt this if they wanted to invest a flash, but not worth it.
Yep, they don't have to though. Cuz just going to set himself up with a cute little present that they do not want to be walking over, as that's the free charge, full health on the Rift Herald, doing a lot of work to take this one down, and Prey free hitting.
3 control wards on the right side as well. They can all tend towards the right side. Nowhere safe to go. Traps to go, no teleport to happen.
And we were talking about an SKT masterclass in game number 3. Game number 4 is, it's like Longzhu were taking that class throughout this entire time, and their macro movements, their play around this map has also looked towards that level. It's just felt like the puzzle pieces have fallen in place one after the other, the dominoes just falling over pristinely.
You know, I tweeted early in the season, around the time they started to get good, I was pretty damn excited about Longzhu Gaming. Yeah. And then the patch changed, and I was like, well, we don't see Khan playing the top lane tanks. That's
we didn't know whether we could be excited.
We got all the way to the grand final, and I said, well, there's really good reasons, founded reasons, to not be able to see them beat SKT. You had to predict SKT based on the data, but that's because there was no data for Longzhu Gaming in the last 3 weeks, and they have stuck to their style, and they have also bucked the trend of rookies crumbling at the knees when they take a bad game. Game 3 was as bad as possible for Longzhu.
And for Cuz especially.
And they managed to steady the troops like Cuz, who took it with a stride, took it on the chin, and walked up and started doing the same sort of bullying that Blank was doing to him in Game 3 to Blank himself in Game 4. And from here, will they go on and win it? We're still not to know. They're in a wonderful position halfway through Game 4. But even that, even just seeing that from Longzhu makes me so excited to see them going forward, because we know it doesn't take a single punch to land onto Longzhu Gaming for them to fall. They'll come back up and look for a brawl.
Yep. And if they don't win this, of course, they do have to play through that Worlds qualifier that's going to be happening next week. And if it's Longzhu winning here, that they have set themselves up to do it, will be KT Rolster. It does mean that next week is going to be a treat no matter what, Papa Smithy. Still, Khan now just going to pick up this wave. There's an Infernal Drake going to be spawning. I'm glad that they showed this one. Double Infernals for Longzhu in match point. 6,000 gold in the lead. Double serrated Dirks already for Khan. Oh God, it couldn't get any better than that.
People were asking if it was a scripted series when we had a reverse sweep telecom war. Wait, hold the point.
Yeah, SKT actually looking for this one. His Cars, oh, flashes on top of the Latin Gorilla. So good. Wants the hook onto Blank, but doesn't find it. Not sure how Cuz survived, to be perfectly honest. That's the weave as well, blocking up the Maokai. It is going to be the flash gain out of Longzhu. Good trade.
2 flashes for 1, so Longzhu even trade up when it looked like Cuz was stuck hopelessly. Your mind flashed back to the sort of catches that happened in the previous series.
Whoa,
catches.
Yeah, flashes actually Gorilla was looking for it. Doesn't even matter. BDD locks down the kill. I felt when the hook went wide that it might have been a little bit too much trust, but it doesn't matter. I just didn't trust enough, and Khan knew exactly what he was capable
and
of.
Can just move over and taxi the minion wave into the inner turret in the bot lane. They already have the mid lane inner. It's free. That's what happens when you get free time with Caitlyn and also the Jace. We're running out of easy objectives, Atlas. They're almost all down because Longzhu's ahead of schedule in so many different ways.
Yeah, they can't even now go back and grab a Baron because we're still a minute and a half away from that one as well. 2-0-1 now for BDD on his Talia. He's had such an incredible performance. I want to see his KDA for this exact tournament because I don't actually have it in front of me, but he has not died a lot. They lost a game. He didn't die. Just absolutely ridiculous. We were asking the questions of BDD versus Faker. It's not necessarily been that storyline for this series. It hasn't been about the mid lane matchup necessarily. It's about how they augment the rest of their team. We know what BDD does with this Talia.
3,000
so
gold
impressive.
lead in top. 3,000 gold. They got a 1,200 gold lead in the mid lane as well.
For context, that's like a Bloodthirster ahead.
Well, this is pretty expensive, but it's a big item ahead.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't help but soak in some of the storylines, return to them, even though the match isn't over, even though SK Telecom could still win.
Yeah.
Seeing SKT camp a brush. Good scrying ult spots them, though.
Cuz's smites have been pretty good. And once again, it is going to be successful. Dark Passage gets him out. Gorilla, the savior of Longzhu. Taric was an interesting choice in game number 3. His Thresh has looked so incredibly good.
The only storyline we haven't talked about is that Rox Tigers achieved a lot in 2 years. Their 2015 and 2016 brought so many fans in Korea and around the world. They won the LCK. They never won Worlds. But remember, they never beat SK Telecom in that big final. Prey and Gorilla have never done it.
Yeah.
It would mean so much for those two in particular. In the most unlikely of fashion, you had to look at the members they surrounded themselves with largely as a downgrade. But they are so close to engineering the finals win they never got.
And Khan so close to beating the heck out of Huni as well. Doesn't avoid the rupture as there's the feast. One more auto attack to flash the feast. Oh, Baker is going to come in and make it a 1-for-1, but not able to save him like he did last time.
Pings onto Baron though instantly. They could be able to answer here. Baker used his teleport. We'll get a turret for it, but isn't able to respond to the top side. Smart move from Longzhu to start Baron. You see Baker back away. Don't know if he has a special delivery in base. I think he does.
This could be opportunistic from Longzhu, though. They've got a ward as SKT, and it hasn't been cleared out just yet.
This is the pivotal moment
to block things off. Wolf doesn't have smite, so he's not going to be the situation here as it's going to be taken. The hook lands onto Wolf as well as Battle Dance. So much damage as the flash forward from BDD locks it down. Flank as well. In so much trouble. Baker trying to be the hero. He does so much damage and takes down BDD, but the damage has been done by Longzhu. Double Infernal Dragon. Now the Baron buff onto 4 members, I believe, unless Khan was still dead, but still. Massive take here from Longzhu.
Only 3 Baron buffs. We get the confirmation that Khan did not pick up the buff, so that's unfortunate for the side of Longzhu. But they get one of the catch-up mechanics for SKT, the Baron buff, off the map. We saw it already in game number 2. If you're against a siege comp and get Baron, Baker will have to just Valkyrie away. Had to flash. Huni wasn't body blocking there, but it all happened in an instant. We're not going to wave our fingers too much at Huni. But we said it in game 2. This is the way to stop a siege comp. It's to get Baron. When the siege comp gets Baron, minimum here is going to be epically breaking the base, and only SKT can start to fish with a rupture. It's not going to stop anything from Longzhu.
Who can freely walk forward and soak these traps as well, as you can see how much damage even Huni's taking as the big beefy Cho'Gath.
I mean, he's got a budget build. He's not even got a Warmox at 22 minutes in the game. It's just going to be the Righteous Glory and some health. Nothing else to speak about. So those crits are still going to be registering pretty decently onto the Cho'Gath, but they'll back away and wait for the next minion wave to spawn.
Oh, this line of control wards as well, denying any vision from SKT outside of their base gate. Huni still very, very low, is now taking a lot more damage. The base is broken in the mid lane, but can they get something back here on the side of SKT? Bang has taken down Cuz at least as Khan, turning it around against Faker. Oh my god, that damage with the shock blast picks up Faker and Huni. It's going to be Prey cleaning up on the back end. Khan is still alive. My god, Blank is going to survive, but he couldn't do anything against the gigantic chase.
He's still zoning away Blank. They can at minimum get 2 inhibitors here, but they might try to end the game, Atlas.
They could just go for the game. They've got the Baron buff still rotating around them. Nexus turrets now under siege. The Cinderella story, the fairy tale that we were talking about could now be a reality unless the Natured Grasp can actually get some work done. On the side of Blank, they take down Gorilla, but all the damage is still here. Khan turns off. Blank should die as Wolf. Grand Entrance comes in. That will stop some of the damage, and Longzhu will back away for the moment.
We take a deep breath. They realize they are unlikely to be able to end the game, even with Blank dying. They back away, but get a couple of picks, and you can end the game in the face of the super tanks. We know they can soak, but not soak that well with how far behind Maokai and Cho'Gath are. And the damage will register from the side of Longzhu Gaming. Is this the moment you can get excited? Is this the moment you can believe that SK Telecom, who have gone 4 years with never losing an LCK or Champions Final, will actually bleed? Because this is as close as any team has ever got.
I challenge you to not be excited watching Longzhu right now. Khan, this play was absolute god tier. Wolf had to flash because it would have just been the W in hammer form that would have taken him down. Khan is so big. And they are teetering on an LCK victory from 7th place in the spring split to first and champions of LCK Summer 2017. An unheard of result.
5,000 gold lead, Atlas, for the Jace. More than 5,000, and being kind to the side of Huni. It is just the most unbelievable story. No coach, no analyst, no caster predicted a Longzhu victory. How could you? But they are rewriting expectations. They are showing that they used their time in the last few weeks to make it work, and they want to end it here.
Yeah, Weaver's going to split up SKT as Huni just on the wrong side of this battle. They can just focus down this Nexus, and that's what Prey is starting to do. Wolf jumps his way through the quickness. It's just going to spell his death, as Blank is not tanky right now. The Beast doesn't do anything. Faker's going to explode as the massive damage from Prey is going to say goodnight to the king of the mid lane. The Nexus falls, and your new champions of the LCK is Longzhu Gaming.
Longzhu Gaming have proved that fairy tales come true. How could they ever beat SK Telecom T1, the team that had never lost a Champions or LCK final, that had only ever dropped 3 games in 6 best-of-5s. They dropped 3 games today with a roster that no one saw coming. If you predicted Longzhu to finish top 5, you would have been laughed out of the room by everyone. If you predicted Longzhu to win the grand final, they still would have been laughing, Atlas. But no one is laughing today. There are tears in the eyes of Longzhu's faces because they have beaten the champions, they have beaten the gods, and Longzhu Gaming are going to Worlds.
And there is no better way to do it either. 4-game series, completely crushed in game 3. Looked like their spirits were down, but they come back and return the favor in game number 4. Utter dominance from Longzhu Gaming.
If you piss off Faker, he will come back stronger. If you piss off Longzhu Gaming, they as a team will engineer your downfall. Huni beside himself. Wonderful game in game 3. but it felt like Longzhu had the cheat code. Longzhu was not going to fall into the traps that so many teams over these years have fallen into. It is a famous victory. I sat there on the World's Analyst desk last year for SKT versus Rox. Rox couldn't get over the line, and I said the fairy tales don't come true. But I get to be front row center for the Longzhu fairy tale, and even taller tale. Who was Khan 6 months ago? Was a true rookie. He is a Royal Roader Atlas, our first Royal Roader in the longest time. No professional experience, now a champion. And Prey and Gorilla, the most beloved bot lane in the world, actually beat SKT in a final for the first time.
Just unbelievable. Cuz so deserving of that Royal Road title as well. I hope he gets a chance to lift up this trophy. As Prey.
Listen to the crowd.
Just unbelievable.
And you know what the best thing is, Atlas?
What's the best thing, Papa?
We haven't seen the best of Longzhu Gaming. They will only get better. This lineup will come in one of the favorites next year. It will go to Worlds now. It forces KT Rolster to probably have to play Samsung again. Could the story be any more sweet? If you sat there at the start of summer and tried to script this season, you would have done a worse job than what we got.
Absolutely impossible. It's been an utter joy, Papa Smithy. What an incredible season. What an incredible year of LCK, honestly.
Incredible miracle. Now Longzhu Gaming have an LCK title. I never thought I would live to see the day.
Speechless.
I spoke to Gorilla after LCK Spring, and he said, all I want to do is make Worlds. It didn't look like it was on the cards, but they've done it. I think it's time to start to send it over to the post-match interview, though, Atlas.
I think we certainly should. On behalf of myself, Papa, Achilleos, thank you so much for watching OGN Legion. But now, for the final time, I'm going to send it to Joel for the post-match interview.
Thank you very much, guys. This is Joel with your last interview translation of the season. Thank you, Papa Smithy. We thank you, Atlas. We thank you, Achilleos, for another great season of casting in. We're going to have an interview hosted by Castajun. We're going to have a talk with all the players and hopefully the coaching staff as well, if they do make it out onto the stage. Let's go over to Gorilla first. It must feel so different with a new team. If I can say one thing, thank you so much. I've been in the finals with 3 teams so far, and I've been blessed with such wonderful teams in my career, and I want to just pass it over to all of my teammates who really deserve all the credit in the world.
네. 우리 정말 죽지도 않으면서 하루에 한 경기 한 번도 안 했는데 BD 선수가 눈이
And we're going with BDD, a player who just never seems to die during his games. And there he is, the man himself. Crowd is chanting, "Don't cry, BDD."
이번 스프링이 제가 살면서 좀 가장 힘들었던 시기 중 하나였는데
This spring split, previous split, was probably one of the toughest times in my life, and
오래된 롱주
it
팬들도 많이
just means
즐겨주셨으면
so much more that I'm able to get this championship today.
네. 사실 스프링 때는 아까 영상에 나온 대로 도만 닦고 있었나요?
As the parody video showed, that you were just meditating all spring.
도만 닦아서 이렇게 잘 된 것 같아요.
I think, being able to rest all spring allowed me to have this championship today. Let's go to Khan.
야, 오늘 마지막에 제이스 그냥 이 한마로
He is the owner of the Jace champion. That is Khan that you are looking at, ladies and gentlemen.
솔직히 걱정 살짝 됐는데.
Yeah, I was actually worried when I was practicing the Jace right before the preparation, but I destroyed SKT and I destroyed it single-handedly, and I got the win.
커즈.
And let's move over to Cuz.
로얄로더 사실 이거 우리 영상도 정말 만들 수가 없는 게 이게 나올 수가 없거든요.
And we don't really have an award for you that really deserves for all the things that you did. You win a championship as soon as you make your debut split.
아무래도 연습했던 대로 잘 할 수 있었던 것 같고
I think all in all, it just came as we practiced.
팀이었는데 정말 좋은
I think it
형들이랑
was
같이 할
this
수
team is
있었고
totally
이제
just dependent on the bot lane duo, and because of those two, Prey and Gorilla, I thank all the people at Longzhu organization,
정말 감사합니다.
and I can't say nothing else but thank you.
경험 부족이란 것 때문에 사실 그 약점을
A lot of people were worried because of the lack of experience that you had coming into this competition.
그때 부스 분위기 어땠어요?
How was the booth like for you going into this finals?
3세트 졌을 때
After losing game 3,
못했던 면이
and I know that
저 자신으로도
many of that part
많이
was due to me playing not as well as I should have.
이제 그냥 그라가스 원래 뺏겨서 졌는데
But you know, it was all about Gragas being taken away from me, but getting it back in game 4, I get it back and I get the win, so I'm all up on smiles now.
코지를 갖고 막 패기 있게 재밌게 이거 코지 이렇게 형들이 자꾸 이렇게 막 뭐라가 자꾸 이렇게 막 압박 넣어.
And all your teammates are telling you to cheer up for all the things that you're trying to do.
형들이 아무래도 이제 저 생각하시는 마음에
Yeah,
좀더
my teammates really just wants me to be excited because they really do care for me. Let's go to Prey, the leader of this squad.
역시 이번 시즌에 센터는 프레이 아닙니다.
You are the Santa Claus of the summer split for this Longzhu organization. Anything you'd like to say?
일단 제가 세 개 다른 팀에서 우승을 했는데 일단
Yeah, I won with
동생들
3 teams so far, but
정말 기분 좋고요.
I give all the credits to my teammates who played fabulously. But game 3, we lost. I'm sorry that we couldn't get you guys home earlier.
보여줘서 너무 기분 좋고.
But losing out game 3, but going back to game 4. But Smed, hey Smed, I made it already. You come follow my lead.
네, 알겠습니다. 자, 우리 이제 코칭 스태프들과도 자, 한 말씀 이제.
And let's go over to coaching staff because we need to have a talk with these guys as well.
뭐 하세요.
The head coach first.
안녕하세요. 강동훈입니다. 예.
Hello, I'm the head coach of Longzhu organization.
우리가 또 예. 한 말씀 하신다면.
Anything you'd like to say?
일단 결승을 승강전을 한다라는 생각으로 준비를 하고
You know,
임했어요.
first of all,
선수들한테도 그렇게 계속
we went to the finals in the mindset of doing promotions, into doing relegations. But that's all I really came up with. But I'm so proud of my team for pulling this off today. But I think, you know, going back in memory of all that we've been through,
하여튼 모두가 만든 거라고 생각을
I think
해요.
everybody
선수들도
contributed to this
같이
moment
열심히
here,
만들어줬고,
and all the players,
코칭 스태프도
all the
거의
coaching staff,
잘만들어가면서
they didn't have one moment of
같이
sleep,
했거든요.
and they
그리고
really just did everything.
저희 경기는 안
They
나오지만
devoted everything towards this team.
항상 서브 선수들도 분위기라든가
And even the
우리
substitutes,
선수들 힘낼 수
even the
있도록
players who don't
많은
play the
노력을
actual
해줬기
games,
때문에
they really
우리가
helped out,
만든 결과라
improve our
생각하고
teammates, and it's just everybody who really
또
made this
우승을
happen.
하자. 화이팅!
Let's go and win worlds.
네, 한 말씀 주세요. 네.
안녕하세요. 롱조 코치 김정수입니다.
Hello, I'm the coach of Longzhu Gaming.
감독님이 롤드컵 우승하자 그랬는데
The head coach wanted to say that let's go to World Championship, but I had the career back in the day last year when I got second place in the World Championship. But I think I'm with all these players now, but I'm so planning, and all the thing about Khan is what I want to mention here. You know, this is a tank meta, don't get me wrong. The meta currently is tank meta, but being able to carry with a DPS, he did a 200% contribution for this team. But I think we're going to practice until we get to the World Championship and show you what we're made of.
안녕하세요. 최승민 코치입니다.
Hello, I'm one of the other coaches for Longzhu Gaming.
이렇게 우승을 해서 너무 기쁘고
I'm so happy to get this win.
승강을 했다고
And first of all, getting to the World Championship is just ecstatic for me.
우승할 수 있도록
And I think
열심히
we have a
하겠습니다.
good chance of
그리고
winning the
제가
World
시작 전에
Championships.
이 영상을 틀어주잖아요. 그 영상을
And I know that
보면서
there's a promotional video that
LCK
comes in
전설이
as soon as this
만들어진다, 뭐 이런
finals
홍보가
began. of where
팀원
legends
선수들이 전부 다
are
새로운
born
전설을
in this
써나갔으면
stage.
좋겠어요.
But I think
그렇습니다.
this might be the beginning
새로운
of all our
시작이
players who are
자,
just
그러면
taking their first
끝으로,
step into becoming
아,
legends.
롤드컵 다짐한 말씀, 각오한 말씀 누가 하시겠어요? 선수분은 우리
Any last
가서
words
자,
from
그럼.
any of the players? See, Gorilla here.
네, 일단 저희 조금 휴식을 갖고요.
We like to have a little break first of all.
서행이 약간 그런 다툼을 봐야 되기 때문에
And we have to see how Smed and Kuro will have the argument of not winning the LCK. But all jokes aside, we're going to head over to Worlds and we're going to do all we can. And we're going to try to show you the best Longzhu team that we can be. So thank you very much, everyone.
네, 이제 롱주 포함해서 시상식을 곧 거행하도록
And including this
하겠습니다.
Longzhu squad
자,
that you see in front of your eyes, we're going to go ahead with the award ceremony.
우승 부분에 대한 시상을
We're going to have 3 awards today, awarding the playoffs MVP, along with the runner-up team and the first place champion team of the LCK Summer Split.
자, 먼저
Let us first begin
거행하도록 하겠습니다. 자, 2017 LCK 챔피언 서머 스플릿
with the MVP of this playoffs.
시상식인데요.
We're going to be awarding the Sonogong IB MVP award to the player who acquired the most satisfactory performance throughout this playoffs.
우리가 바로 지금 연락을 받았습니다. 자, 2017 LCK 챔피언스 서머 스플릿
2017 LCK Summer IB MVP is
롱주의 강팀
Longzhu, none other than Khan.
네, 축하합니다.
Let's move Khan back over to the stage.
오늘 상대 추격인들을 그냥
There's no one deserving of this playoff MVP award who has performed spectacularly throughout this playoffs and also the finals itself.
네, 손흥민 MVP
And the award will be presented by the head representative of Sonogong IB, Won Jang-bang, to present the award.
네, 우리 방 대표님과 함께 진행하고 있는 손오공 IB
Sonogong IB MVP. The playoff MVP does go to Khan from Longzhu Gaming.
오늘 하루 그냥
And you can have a sure rest for today because you will be secured a spot in the World Championship.
그리고 칸 선수에게는 500만 원의 상금이 주어집니다. 여러분,
So congratulations, Khan, for the MVP of the playoffs for 2017 LCK Summer.
강원준 대표님 감사합니다. 자리로 돌아가셔야 되겠습니다. 네, 칸 선수, 네, 자리로 돌아가셔야 되고요. 다음은 이제 본상 시상을 거행하도록 하겠습니다. 먼저
We'll move on to the main awards. We'll have 2 of these, and the first will be for the runner-up team. This team has shown so many consistent performances, but this season they had to overcome such a tough obstacle, but they are finally here. A very formidable second place runner-up does go to SK Telecom T1.
네, 오늘 정말 아쉽게 준우승에 올랐습니다만
It was a valiant run by these guys. All the efforts starting for the wild cards, advancing from each round to make it to this grand finals. And even in the second round of playoffs, they had to pull off a reverse sweep to make it to this stage today. But they are here. A very satisfactory result for these guys. This is the team that you guys all have been cheering for, and they have been awarded by the head representative of KESPA, Mansujo, to present the award for the runner-ups of LCK 2017 Summer Split. And we give all the congratulations to SK Telecom T1 for getting second place in this LCK Summer. So give another round of applause to SKT Telecom T1. And Wolf joined to the party. And we're going to have another one because Wolf just joined the party.
자, 현재 한국 e스포츠부 조만 사무총장님 모시고 막 도착한 우리 울프 선수도 포함해서 자, 준우승
We're here with the entire SK Telecom squad, along with the head representative of KESPA, to award this prestigious award of second place. So give another round of applause.
네, 이제 SK텔레콤 선수들 자리로 들어가도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 시상해주신 조만수 사무총장님 감사드립니다. 자, 이제 마지막입니다.
And finally, we're gonna move
자,
on
이번 서머
to the grand finale of the awards. The legend was born as a new generation has been born for this new team today because they have written history. They have done something nobody else has done and has beaten SK Telecom T1 in the grand finals. They are no longer a weak team. They are considered a strong team from this day forward. We're going to give a big round of applause for the champion of LCK Summer, Longzhu Gaming.
네. 롱주는 지난해
Longzhu has seen many changes. They have seen many different strats. They have seen many different obstacles before them, and in the past, in this season, previously ahead them, they could not overcome those obstacles. But this year and this season, they have shown they are the strong team worthy of winning this award, of becoming the champion. But to present the award, we have the head representative of Riot Korea. We have Seung-Yeon Lee to present the award to Longzhu Gaming. For the champion, they deserving of LCK Summer. We're gonna have each of these players lift up that trophy to really relish all the honor that they have gained for themselves today.
트로피는 가져왔어야 되고요. 네. 자, 라이엇 게임즈의 대표님 이승환 대표님 모시고 그리고
Along with Riot Games Korea representative Seung-Yeon Lee with the Longzhu Gaming. We're gonna have a photo session real quick. We will be presenting the award to these guys, and congratulations to them. There's no one deserving of this award. And another big round of applause to Longzhu Gaming, the champions of 2017 League of Legends Champions Korea Summer Split.
네, 그리고 시상해주신 이승환 대표님 감사드리며 자유 들어가서 되겠습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 이제 잠시 후에 세레모니 할게요. 트로피 가져오려고 그런 거였구나. 미안해요. 레프레이 미안해. 난 또 이게
I think all the players really want to grab their hands on the trophy.
마지막으로 인사드리고 또
But we will give one last goodbye to close out this 2017 LCK Summer Split. We thank you all for watching another great split with us, and the fans and the viewers out there. You guys make this program happen, and we thank you along with me, Joel Sophie, along with also with the casters, Papa Smithy, Atlas, and Achilleos. We thank you all for watching this season, and we just await you to come back once again, once we do go for the World Championship. But to close out, this is Joel Sophie from OGN, closing out the League of Legends Champions Korea Summer Split. And we will see you the next split and also the World Championship. So long.